Mr. Dolan, how did you get started watching fast pitch softball?
Yeah, I started actually with Sealmaster Stevens Adams's team many years ago, and we've always had a great interest in sports and liked it myself, all kinds of sports. And Stevens Adamson, of course, was just a unbelievably great team with, you know, just so many great players that were of world caliber. And so we started coming out here all the time watching them, and as time evolved, like the Sterkel boys were bat boys then, and now they're pitching for, almost done pitching. So it's been a pretty long period of time, really, that we've followed it.
Didn't you actually follow the team to Japan?
Well, that was a little later. That was with Home Savings. Yeah, I had some real close friends, Frankie Hurt and Bobby Christian, Bobby Barron, and Smokey Smith that just passed away was coaching then, and myself and Doc Sandrolini and Woody, Harold Taylor and his wife. I think there were about 10 of us as fans. We went along to Japan, and we were there for about 2 weeks, and every day went to a new town, and it was a fabulous trip. The Japanese were unbelievable hosts. They had banquets every night with big ice sculptures and gave lavish gifts to everybody, and Saskatchewan from Canada was also with us, and it was a exciting 2 weeks. They took the fences down because we hit the ball so far. They eliminated their fences, so they played back about 50 yards further than they ever did in their life. I remember we had Denny Deloret, big first baseman from the farm actually, that was playing in Aurora. And he was hitting just some magnificent high home runs. And they started calling him Popeye. And they started playing Popeye the Sailor Man every time he come up. But it was a great trip and great camaraderie.
And then you came back and continued to watch.
Right, yeah. And softball was starting to fade a little bit, this fast pitch caliber. It was harder and harder to get major sponsors because, like, going back with Sealmasters and Home Saving, I imagine they spent $150,000 a year, and that was 40 years ago, 35 years ago. So it'd be double that value today. So it was difficult, and they went through 2 or 3 sponsors, but none of them lasted. And then they got a bunch of merchants, what was it, DJs, I believe it was, and I can't remember actually who approached me about sponsoring them, and I was glad to. Nothing, and it's nothing. The involvement's nothing like the dollars we're talking about, those big companies. But we try to just get them over the hump as far as paying for the fields, the umps, and traveling, and we have some fundraisers. And what's really exciting about Dolan and Murphy team is they're almost all local. There's no $50,000, $60,000 pitchers out there. They're playing for the pure love of the game, and they compete very well. They've got some great athletes, and most of them from a local flavor. So we picked them up, I guess, about 10 years ago, 10 years ago. I think this is maybe the 10th year. And I just have a great respect for these guys. They play 60, 70 games a year. Their family, their wives, their kids have to be dedicated to it because they just live these weekends in a ballpark somewhere. And it's been a lot of fun.
Do you see it continuing?
Well, that's, right now we're in an effort to try to rekindle this. We've now joined with Aurora Fast Pitch. They're still using the name of Dolan and Murphy, but they're beginning to try to start some youth programs. So when we were kids, there were the church leagues, the factory leagues, Catholic league. There were a ton of young ball players coming out of Aurora. Now there's very little fast pitch, if any. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to actually start the youth of this area to try to get some product coming up, and then we're just going to try to bring it back. And this is not my idea. This is Mr. Thompson, Billy Pfeiffer, and Sanderlini, and guys that were involved with fast pitch for all of these years. But we had the team that was in place, and I talked to our team and just felt that if we could be the catalyst to help bring it back, so that's why we kind of joined forces here.